At the CMMG Media Day, Kedrick and I got to try out all the various models and see where the new upgrades are, where some of the changes are, the stylistic changes that they've made. And it's easy to see where a lot of the kinetic energy is within the organization. There's just, if you go out to CMMG's website and take a look at their list of chamberings, you're going to be able to see that there are tons of those Banshee models, the little AR pistols like this one, that are chambered for just all kinds of crazy stuff. Pistol calibers, up through rifle rounds, stuff that you would think would be maybe a bit too powerful for something small like this. But actually in a lot of ways, especially if you have a suppressor, it's something that works out really well. You can have a very powerful package that's really tiny like this one. And if you look at the Resolute line, you also see just a whole lot of chambering options and all kinds of things that you can do with that for different types of hunting or defense. You can kind of figure this out however you want for your situation and make it happen. But the new potential energy is in a brand new model called the Dissent, and we got to try this out firsthand for the first time. The Dissent goes away from the traditional AR pistol kind of setup. It gets rid of the buffer tube at the back. You don't need a stock, you don't need a pistol brace or anything. So if you want to have an AR pistol, everything is encapsulated from here forward. You just have everything running right here through the top of the action. This is going to be a different setup overall. It's going to have just all new hardware. It's going to use, similar barrels to what you've had in the past with ARs, and other things will be interchangeable like magazines and grips and all that sort of stuff. But the mechanicals that go on in here are quite different. You have a shorter bolt up in this area because you're not going to be running back into a buffer tube. It's going to be a pretty short bolt carrier group. And then you have two guide rods and guide springs across the top and some hardware in there that's used to kind of capture the gas and help to push everything backward. This is similar to the SIG MCX, either the Spear or the Rattler. It's going to be a rifle configuration or a pistol style. And with that, you can see that you can have folding stocks at the back. If you have maybe an SBR, or if you have a longer barrel, you can have kind of a full rifle with a folding stock on the side. It kind of keeps everything simple, keeps everything in a nice clean package. And if you get into a pistol like this one with the Dissent, then you can just have kind of a block at the back, and maybe at some point, if you want to add a brace, if you want to turn it into an SBR and put a stock on the back, you can do that. And that's the configurations that we actually shot at the media day. We shot some pistol configurations that had been turned into SBRs. These were registered NFA items, and they had folding stocks at the back. And the whole package was really cool. I got to shoot it both as a pistol, just kind of holding it out in front of me, two-handed, or getting that stock back out, trying it with that in the shoulder, and both of them, it was actually just a really nice experience. It feels almost exactly like shooting an AR pistol like this one. The only difference that I could feel, there wasn't really any change in recoil, there wasn't anything weird going on. The only thing I noticed was that there was no buffer tube, and buffer spring kind of sproing that you get. You get that, that sound in your ear. When you fire one of these, you get the spring kind of bouncing around inside there and making some extra noise, and there just wasn't that. Now this looks like it is going to be a very robust system, and this is a major flex on the part of CMMG. You'll notice that they have 3 chamberings to begin with. They have 5.56 because that's the standard, that's the one that most people are going to buy. There's going to be just, it's the common round, it's the one that it's going to share with your rifle, and it's going to have, a good amount of oomph to it. It's going to be something that can be very effective if you want to make a little truck gun or something out of this. And then you have 300 Blackout, which is a really good test bed. It takes a similar setup, similar magazines and all that. And then all you have to do is if you put a can on this, then that is going to be a very quiet and very effective weapon, especially at closer distances. And then the one that's the real flex is the 5.7 by 28 millimeter chambering. And what CMMG is doing by offering that 5.7 by 28 is they're showing that they can do anything with this system. They'll be able to make rifle length, and I think we're just going to see that as time goes on. We'll see that in the next iteration. They're going to have these pistol length ones, and we're not only going to have the traditional sort of setup with the BCG that's based on gas, we're also going to be able to get into the radial delayed blowback like you get with those 9mm and 5.7 by 28mm models. So we're going to have just a broad variety of things in the future. I think they're really going to start opening this up. Yeah, right now it's just these pistol configurations, short barrels, no stock or anything on the back, no brace. It's just going to be, a pretty simple, just tiny little kind of truck gun setup. But then in the future, yeah, we're going to see this grow. We're going to see more chamberings. We're going to see that 9mm. We're going to see 45 ACP, I'm sure. And who knows, they could get into some wild stuff like 350 Legend, especially as they get into longer barrels and things. And yeah, keep an eye on this. This is going to be, I think, just a really exciting new adventure for CMMG, and something that I think a lot of people are going to want to get their hands on because of its flexibility. Now, some of the cool things that you're going to find on the Dissent that are going to separate it from AR pistols, not just that, stuff missing on the back. You're going to notice that there's a Picatinny rail section at the very back now. There's kind of a block that they put in place to cover up that rear section where the buffer tube usually goes. So there's a new thing that kind of screws into place there, and it covers up kind of the back of the action, and it helps to adapt the lower, which is going to have everything the same as you would normally get on an AR pistol like this one. It's just going to be the same kind of configuration, except for its really cool styling, but it's going to help to cover up that extra rise that you get from the upper receiver here. This Picatinny rail section is going to be compatible with all kinds of other stocks or braces or whatever it is that you want to put on there. Like if you look at the SIG MCX, you're going to see that they have similar parts that go in the back of theirs, and so you could probably find the same kind of things and swap them onto there. But up front, instead of having a normal hand guard, you're going to see that there is now the charging latch here. So it's not back up at the top like normal. It's going to be more like your H&Ks, like the MP5, where you have a charging handle up across here, and yes, it is non-reciprocating. That means that once you have racked something in, like maybe you have everything kind of in its neutral configuration, you want to be able to rack in one round, you pull this back, let it go, and then from then on, that latch stays in the forward configuration. And one really cool thing for those of us that want to train for ambidextrous use, or if you're left-handed, you can see that the cutout is on both sides of that handguard. So you have it across the top on the left and across the top on the right. And so all you have to do is, if you want to go lefty on it, you can just purchase an extra little charging latch and swap it in place over on the other side, and then you're ready to go. Now, it's only going to eject from the right side still, and you can see in these images that we still do have a brass deflector at least to protect you lefties, and but it is removable. So if you want to get rid of that as a righty, you can. You can swap this out, just 2 screws, pop it out, and you're done. But aside from that, a lot of the other things about this are going to be just completely compatible with a normal AR-15, either pistol or rifle. Muzzle brakes are going to be the same, all the same sort of stuff. The only thing that's going to possibly be different for us that want to tinker and maybe swap around barrels is that it seems like the gas system is going to be its own new beast. I was talking to one of the engineers out there. Hey, Jordan, good chatting with you. And with a system like this, there's not going to be different buffers that you can swap around, and different buffer springs. Everything is just going to be kind of standard in here. So you have to be very judicious with how your gas runs up here. And so that's a lot of the time that they've spent within this system, is figuring out how much gas to get back through this to make sure that it runs reliably with whatever ammunition is going to be there. And so it's going to be, kind of based on a lot of your standard ammunition types. If it's a 5.56, they're going to make sure that it works with, your 223, 55 grain bullets up through your 77s and all that. And that shouldn't be a problem. A lot of those are, they're really going to be the same pressure overall. But yeah, with some of these, like say with 300 Blackout, where you have the subsonics and the supersonics, that's one that usually runs really well in one standard gas system, just because of its setup. It's a really cool round. But yeah, just kind of balancing that out and making sure that it works. Maybe take a little extra work. But yeah, for tinkerers like us, we probably have to start using some adjustable gas blocks or something in order to kind of tweak things to get it just right for a new chambering, or just any kind of goofing off that we want to do with maybe different barrel lengths and all that. But this represents a lot of that potential that we get from the system. You can see that it's an attractive little piece. It is a good looking little pistol, and I think we have a lot to look forward to in the future. If you have any questions about the Dissent, please put them down in the comments below. If you've tried one already and want to let everybody know how it works, yeah, go ahead, put it down there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you to patrons of the Destructive Arts for making this one possible, and we're going to talk about the Mark 47 in the next video.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So, you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.